Hello, how you doing? Okay. What do you want to say, baby?
The cover?
Yeah, maybe.
With some Jameson, whiskey with apple cider for you.
They have a bar. So, oh, there's a bar. There is a bar. We're in luck. So very similar to Frankfurt. Bad weather, but we got a bar. So, doing hot toddies with Jameson. Tipsy travelers wouldn't have it any other way. And I think we're starting soon, but it's really cool. Prices are really reasonable. So we booked in advance too. It was $50 a person. So if you buy online, you can just go straight to the boat. And then the bar drinks were $12 each, so not bad. Press, babe. What? Yeah, our hotel looks really impressive from the water.
This is my 4th season coming on board to do these tours, and I keep coming back because I love this city so much. But when I was revamping my tour this time around, I kept on coming across this phrase as I was listening to different docents or architects. The phrase is, architecture does not exist within a vacuum. What that basically means is today we're going to be checking out a living, breathing city environment, right? That's known as the Wrigley Building, named after William M. Wrigley Jr. of Wrigley Chewing Gum. You might know them, Juicy Fruit, Big Red. This was their original headquarters. Building itself broken up into 2 sections. Left side from about 1921 with the expansion to the right in 1924. Whole building designed by architecture firm Graham Anderson Probst & White, and the style is called Spanish Revival architecture. Consists of about 250,000 terracotta clay tiles in 6 different shades of that nice cream color. Beautiful building to get started on the tour. That, if you need to know the name, just squint your eyes. You can see it on the side there. The Strobe International Hotel and Tower stands at 1,388 feet tall, or if you're using metric, that's just about 423 meters. This is a bit of architecture from 2009, designed by architect Adrian Smith. DuSable in this case is actually named after what we call the founder of Chicago, Jean-Baptiste Pont DuSable. The top ornamented dome, you can also notice on each corner existed an old water turret. Now that used to be containers for the fire suppression system when it first opened up in 1927. Or connected to the side of the second, a full music venue called the Chicago House of Blues, and that was once a movie theater when it first opened. Only thing to keep in mind, if you end up buying or renting here, your apartment or condo is going to be shaped like a pizza slice, so you got to get a little creative with that interior design work. Now this is a bit of architecture from 1990, designed by architect Ricardo Bofill. He's a Spanish architect. He did a great job here. An architect who is actually very popular for his work in North Lawndale. He actually designed the old Sears Tower, the original Sears complex. George C. Nimitz. Now, this building here is the closest thing we have to prairie school style along the tour, meant to mimic the flat prairie lands that Chicago is built upon. Nowadays, this is being used as office space for weight of the bridge and a counterweight on the backside to lift them up and down. Now, very curious with this bridge in front of us is above you also have some of the connected L trains. Yes, those are the train tracks right there. Still today, we have the 3rd busiest rail system in the United States, just behind New York City and Washington, D.C. It became popular in the 1920s. Really, 1920s was a time of economic prosperity, this optimism towards the future, and so you can see that reflected with the designs here. Deep inset windows and polished limestone, combined with the clean lines that draw your eyes up to the top, and bronze accents that surround the exterior. Right there, that's from about 2017. It's known as River Point Tower. Of course, this here is Wolf Point, where the north, south, and main branch all connect. But I have a better name for this building, I think. I like to call that the Glass Hot Pocket. That's what it kind of looks like. It's not a building and it's not very tall, but you know what? It's better than nothing, so I always like to give it a shout out on the tour. All right, the winds are going to pick up. We're going to start traveling up in the house, and it dates back to 1898. Originally, it did not look like that. There were no windows, there were no balconies. It was just a giant pink freezer box, basically a dry storage freezer warehouse for the meat packing industry and the Union stockyards. And a great example of postmodern architecture. If you remember that black box that we saw, that was modernism. This is postmodernism. I just like to think of it as breaking out of the box with more diverse and unique shapes. A lot of these are still the original owners living inside. Last one that sold was back in 2015 that we are aware of for an estimated $2.3 million. On average, was going to be around 4,000 square feet worth of total space. Wow. You can see how they're divided across with each balcony and patio being connected to one unit. It's going to be 4 levels of space, including the basement, and these also sell between $2 to $3 million.
Sarah's frozen.
It's really, really freaking cold.
They can't hear you. She said she's really, really cold. Is it Frankfurt cold or colder?
Oh, I would take Frankfurt any day.
She said she would take Frankfurt any day. These houses are really pretty. If we 2 to 3 million. Sarah asked a group question. Why does the drawbridge not go down? Apparently, we're gonna have an answer.
All right, we're going to keep moving on. We had some fantastic questions about this bridge that we see here to the left. Basically, this is another example of a trunnion bascule bridge, but this is going to be a single leaf bridge instead of the dual leaf bridges that we see today. So this is the heavyweight of the bridge. On the front back side, you can see an exposed large concrete counterweight. Weighs a few tons, helps to lift the bridge up and down with the help of an electric motor. All controlled in a bridge tender house just like that. And you can open up these bridges up or down in only about a minute to 2 minutes time. So really, it does not take too long. And you do see that happen mainly on Wednesdays and Saturdays during the early summer and end of summer as sailboats make their way here from the river out to the lake for the summertime and then back in for the docks during the kept open. Underneath that area, you have the problem with the trains that we've talked about passing through this direction heading south. And so the only workable lot space is going to be right there in the middle where you see that exposed core. These buildings, and there is a risk that people at the top might experience excess motion sickness. Yeah, you don't want people to get motion sick inside your building. So, all right, now underneath Washington Boulevard, we're going to see 2 Art Deco style buildings. The most notable, I would say, is here to the left. This is going to be the Civic Opera Building, completed in 1929, designed by Graham Anderson, Probst & White. Now inside there is the second largest opera house in the United States. Seats right around 3,600 people inside, and it's the home of the Lyric Opera of Chicago as well as the Joffrey Ballet. There's also their main printing press as well. So both of these buildings were completed in the same year, that being 1929. It's known as the Old Post Office of Chicago, but this is also a popular filming location if you've ever seen the Batman trilogy by Christopher Nolan, specifically the second movie, The Dark Knight. This was the filming location for the opening bank heist scene, if you've seen the beginning of that movie. But yes, it used to be a post office. By 1932, this became the largest post office in the world, and that was mainly to keep up with demand for the mail-in order catalog industry, being pioneered by major retail giants like Montgomery Ward and Sears. All right, and the last one I'll mention in this area is to the back right. That lone little building hanging out by itself, that's known as the Union Station Powerhouse. Abandoned, it was decommissioned in 2011, and we don't know what's going to happen to it quite yet. It might be torn down in the future, or they might rework it, turn it into something. What had happened, but by that point, between 17 to 18,000 buildings in the downtown area had burned down. There's about 3.3 square miles worth of land affected, and 1 out of every 3 people was left without a home. So it was a massive tragedy, unlike anything Chicago had ever seen before. This right here, black building with the 2 white antenna coming into view, my friends, that is the Sears Tower. Now here's the thing. If you look at that building on Google today, it's going to say Willis Tower. That is for one reason and one reason alone. It's because Willis Insurance Group likes to ruin everything. All right? They moved in about 2009, and they started to rent the naming rights. They paid close to about $1 million year to year to have the name officially called Willis Tower. Just know, they really want you to call it the Willis Tower. Everyone in Chicago still calls it the Sears Tower. Like different radio stations and TV networks, but those do not count towards the total height of this building.
It's cold!
Well, I bring this up because
having a good
when
time?
this building was first designed,
Having a
and you can still see
magnificent.
it featured today.
We're on round 2. I just got coffee and Bailey's. Sarah got another hot toddy.
Which I think is a very purple line train. I think probably brown line. Actually, if you're looking for a great train to check out for yourself, and you've never done it before, I think the brown line train is the best. Take it up north because you go all winding in and out of the buildings, and especially during sunset, you're like, whoa, Chicago. You look to the left of that clock tower, just one to the left, and then you're counting across. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sets of bay windows. But one to the right, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right? So what's going on? Well, basically, 1930, Chicago was expanding the streets in Chicago, and that included LaSalle Street just behind us there. And so when they made that street wider, They had to work with the construction team here to modify the building. That's because it was designed out of protest to prohibition. The mindset basically was, what better way to protest prohibition and tell the government we would like to drink alcohol than getting a giant champagne bottle and putting it right in the middle of downtown Chicago. Logo at NBC Tower. I think that's incredible. Now this building uses a variety of methods of wind sway reduction. It kind of has to because it's so close to the lake and so tall right here. So you can see bundled tubes. It has a variety of inertial splash dampers, but to the far right, 17 floors from the top. It's actually designed by two students of Ludwig Mies van der Rohe, Heinrich and Chaporian, and completed in 1969. Because of its units inside, including Tom Cruise, Alice Cooper, Sammy Sosa, and Scottie Pippen, and notably Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn shared an apartment inside Tribune Tower while they were still together. Was in jail for draft dodgers at Red Cross Station. World War II, again completely converted into a new military outpost reserved for aircraft pilots to practice landing on naval ships at Lake Michigan.
Hey, you were amazing, man.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Hey, I hope we got some good videos too.
Oh, absolutely, man.